Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually, and welcome to our first solo exhibit of the 2024 season here at Gallery Guichard. And we're excited to be celebrating 19 years in Bronzeville consecutively. This exhibit features one of our cultural legends here on the south side of Chicago. Pearlie Taylor is a non-objective abstract painter, and she has an amazing new solo exhibit opening at the third Friday Bronzeville Art Tour, and is entitled A Life Well Abstracted.
Her artwork manifests amazing colors that you'll see in each of the paintings, and you'll love everything that you see.
We're going to be speaking with Pearlie Taylor live in her studio, and we're going to learn about her inspiration and how she uses anything but a brush to create these amazing works.
Can't wait to have the conversation with Pearlie. I am so looking forward to hearing more about how she creates these amazing pieces.
Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually. My name is Andre Guichard, artist, curator, collector, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
And I'm Frances Guichard, artist, collector, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
Boy, do we have a treat for you. We are here with one of our national treasures, and I say that proudly because I feel like we have been part of the birthing of this amazing talent, Pearlie Taylor. How you doing today, Pearlie?
Hi, Pearlie.
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for asking.
Well, you look fantastic. And so does that work behind you.
As always.
Very much.
Always creative, always full of energy. And I think for so many people, Pearlie, this is a moment for them to learn more about someone who 19 short years ago started working with the gallery and has continued to blossom, where I just feel like you're in your prime. So I'd like to start off my first question with, how did you know you were an artist?
Now, it's a funny thing about that. I knew and I didn't know. It was like all my life, I dabbled with painting. No, I take that back. I was drawing all of my life for as long as I can remember. And I enjoyed it. Members of my family could all draw. We could all draw. So it was no big deal. But the thing about it is it never left. There was not a time where I didn't have the urge to draw something. And it just it stayed with me for years. I dabbled at it for years until I decided to take classes just to see what this thing was that would just never leave me alone. And I found during that first class that I had a little bit of something. And I just stayed with it until I came to a time in my life where I could really pursue it seriously.
That is a great story.
That is a great story. And you know that it's something about the work that you have here in A Life Well Abstracted. I love that title, A Life Well Abstracted. Knowing how you grew up and were raised in Mississippi, tell us how Mississippi and your upbringing in the South has influenced your work.
Now, that's not exactly correct. I was born in Mississippi, but I was raised in Chicago.
All right, you're a Chicagoan.
Right now.
Yes, I arrived in Chicago at 3 years old, and I never looked back. I returned to visit Mississippi in the 1980s for the first time, and I liked the feel of Mississippi. At the time, I saw cotton for the first time, and I knew my family were sharecroppers. So seeing cotton for the first time was a big deal. I had to stop the car and I had to get out, and I walked up to somebody's cotton field and I touched the first, I guess, cotton boll you'd call it. And I looked at it. I mean, I was happy, just like a kid finding candy, that I had touched my first piece of cotton. And I remembered the smell of it. It was like sweet. And I was surprised to find that cotton is actually cotton in the plant. It doesn't have to be processed to become cotton. It's already cotton while it's growing. And that just amazed me. I was just amazed by that fact.
And that's something that very few people have experienced in person, from the North in particular.
I tell you.
That's something. So, Pearlie, I had a question, and for those who don't know the history of our discovery of your amazing talent for ourselves, of course, you knew it all along, and your first husband knew it, but historically speaking, for people who don't know, Pearlie and her husband owned the UPS store on 35th Street. And as a studio artist, I shipped my work through your UPS store.
That's right.
There was a show in Philadelphia, Art Jazz Gallery, and I had a work that was being sent there for a show and it got damaged. And your husband said, "Don't worry, I know you're panicking. I'm gonna help you through this. But I have one favor, if you could just come and take a look at my wife's work."
I remember that well.
And
I was upset with him about that.
and I kept thinking to myself, anytime somebody asks that, the work usually is bad, or it's not like something you'd be excited about. But I remember coming over and being blown away by those detailed drawings. So that is a lead up to my question: how or what was the evolution from more of a portrait a person who did portraits and
and landscapes, yes,
landscapes, the whole gamut, to now a non-objective abstract artist? Are there similarities, differences, or all the same?
It's really different. When I was drawing and painting before, I was focused on finishing a painting mostly. In order to keep my hand in, I had to look at something or put a painting together from different pieces of other painting to make one whole painting. And my whole thing was to try to finish a painting because I was so busy at the time. Now, that changed when I stopped being so busy. Because even after I sold the UPS store, I was still figurative for a minute because I had not transitioned into becoming abstract. I'm probably an abstract person because I have this serious thing about freedom and how everything and everyone should be free. There should be a different flow to life rather than have all these rules on you about what you can do, what you can't do, how you should feel about this and that. So after I sold the store and I moved away to a smaller place, it wasn't so small, it was just different. Everything was on one level. I moved from a 3-story house to a condo all on one level. And in that space, I kept the living room empty so I could paint in there. Beautiful floors, all of that. I didn't care. Something was happening with me, but I didn't really understand what. I wanted to paint, but I felt different about painting. So I just laid a canvas on the floor and I looked at it for several days. I walked around it and I didn't know how to start until something just happened. Spray some water on it. See what happens with the paint. I did exactly that. Matter of fact, I sprayed too much water on it. It just ran off the side of the canvas all over the floor, except the floor was covered. But anyway, it was messy. and I dropped a couple of colors of paint on it, and watching how the paint flowed on that water changed my life. I never looked back. I felt different. I felt like I was flying. I felt free. And I just continued in that fashion. I painted on that one particular canvas for at least a week. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I felt so good doing it until I had to continue. What I found was I lost myself in the work. You know, I could paint for hours. It was just a whole different feel. It was like I had arrived to the place where I was supposed to be. And that just continued on after that. During that session, during that time period, I painted all day and all night. I would go to bed with paint on me. I would get up the next morning, look at the painting, start again, get a cup of coffee, get back in the work. I had paint on clothes that I should not have had paint on. But it was strange. Nobody was calling, nobody was visiting. I was in my own world. And from that day, I knew that I was doing what I was supposed to do.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, you know, you have arrived, as you said, and it's indicative by the strong body of work that you have here at the gallery. And I know that you have stories, you love to write stories, you love to tell stories. So are you telling stories in the work that you are doing here, like the piece behind us? Is there a story in behind this piece?
Not particularly. Normally, I will title paintings while it's working. And it kind of tells me a little bit about it. But many times, I don't feel the name, sometimes ever. Then I struggle. But if I feel it during the process of painting, then I know that's the title. So that's generally how the titles come about. Some are good, some are strange, some are, I don't know. And there are times when I would want to name a painting a particular thing, but I'll hesitate and probably not do it because it wouldn't make any sense to anyone except me. So
Now, there's a diptych called The Moth. It's a beautiful background, and I am in love with that painting. What is the story behind that?
I don't know for real if it is a story, but it was kind of mysterious. It started showing itself to me in a mysterious kind of way. And as I was painting it, I could see that moth coming out, you know, and it wasn't a threatening kind of painting. It was more happy and bright, and it was emerging. So, and once I finished it, that's exactly what I saw, how it felt to me, and it was in flight, whatever it was at the time I was painting it. The last little bit of paint I added to it, it was not so much intentional because I don't paint intentionally, and that last stroke brought the moth out to me completely. I saw it once it was finished, and it was unmistakable.
Beautiful. And now that you finished saying that, I can't not see it anymore. Like I see
Exactly.
It's so permanent.
It's beautiful.
So all I want to say in closing is I am so honored to have been able to watch your journey, and it's so amazing how your energy seems never ending and how your paintings are literally art imitating life. It feels like your inner energy. Is that what is also coming out?
It is that. It's all coming from within. I never plan it because I want to see how I feel about the painting. The painting wants to see what I feel about it. It's kind of like we're one. So once I start, the painting And the painting and I are just one. It tells me what to do, and I do it. So I just paint the way I feel that particular day.
Beautiful.
Wow.
You have been an inspiration. You are an inspiration to artists, other artists like myself and Andre. You're an inspiration to your collectors. They love your work. And I know this is going to be a sellout show.
What an amazing show. Every time we talk to Pearlie Taylor and we get to the understanding of the mind of a creative living genius, you appreciate even more how an 82-year-old can work with a mop as free as a 30 or 40-year-old. So I'm always impressed, and I hope you were too.
And it just shows you, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still do amazing work. Pearlie's work is spectacular, and the colors are just amazing. So you have to come out and see her amazing artwork, or check it out on our website at www.galleryguichard.com.
Study long, study wrong. Already 2 pieces have sold from this exhibition, and we do expect to sell out. See art, love art, buy art, live with original art. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 for you to take advantage of this virtual exhibit catalog number 38 and see Pearlie Taylor's solo exhibit in person virtually. Move around with the circles so that you can wander through this amazing exhibition, and then you can touch the matter tags so that you can find out information about each painting, title, medium, price, and size.
And check us out at www.galleryguichard.com, where you'll be able to see Pearlie's amazing artwork in amazing color.